So the Minnesota Vikings haven't had the greatest of seasons this year, and things just get a little bit worse. Adam Schefter is reporting that their starting quarterback, Kirk Cousins, has tested positive for COVID-19, and he will be out for their game against the Green Bay Packers this Sunday. Now, listen, it hasn't been an uncommon occurrence for NFL players to test positive for COVID-19. I know that the NFL put out some new rules and some new legislation and some policies basically saying that, hey, if you're vaccinated, you're not going to be tested all the time. If you're asymptomatic, you can play, you can test out. They're following the CDC rules of 10 days of quarantine to 5 days of quarantine. And they're really just trying to, I don't know if I want to call it reduce the amount of positive cases, but reduce the amount of players that are missing games due to COVID. But on Tuesday, they had 100 players added to the COVID reserve list. But when it comes to Kirk Cousins, to me, it was as if Twitter was waiting for Kirk Cousins to test positive for COVID. He was very outspoken about the vaccine during training camp. And I mean, I think we should all hope that he's okay. Nobody should wish anything bad to happen really to anybody. And I hope that people believe and hope that Cousins will recover quickly from this. That being said, the internet has gone crazy today, and they're just absolutely calling out Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was quoted this year of that quote, "If I die, I die." That's something that's been popping up on my timeline like crazy since his positive test. And again, it's a quote that you knew at some point this season was going to come back to bite him. It's just the way it goes. And when you think about the Minnesota Vikings as a whole, considering the talent they have offensively, and listen, can we just talk about Kirk Cousins for a second? How a lot of people are blaming him for some of the Viking woes when in reality, the defense is the issue. I mean, the offense and Kirk Cousins are not the issue in Minnesota, but general manager Rick Spielman and head coach Mike Zimmer, they've been on the chopping block, the hot seat, whatever you want to call it. A big win against the Packers could have possibly saved their jobs. Minnesota, now without their starting quarterback at Lambeau Field, probably not going to be the result that they're looking for. And I compare this to when Buffalo Bills Cole Beasley tested positive for COVID this year. He was very vocal in the offseason and his stance against the vaccine. He went through just a groundswell of negative backlash after he tested positive. And Kirk Cousins is sort of experiencing the same thing right now. People are making jokes out of it. They're finding it funny. I don't necessarily think we should be finding it funny. I mean, we should never hope, again, as I've already said, we should never hope anything bad about anybody. However, that all being said, you've come to expect this, but yeah, I mean, the internet is killing him right now. The Packers, who've basically been on cruise control for most of this season, are now going to continue on cruise control, not having to face Kirk Cousins. And week 17 in a game, really, I mean, the Vikings weren't going to make the playoffs anyhow. However, this just escalated things to a new level for Cousins. I hope he's okay. All the best. Godspeed. And I always want to, plead to my friends on Twitter, like, lay off the guy, okay? Just let him heal in peace.